Um, We've had the petition, it's on, I think. Okay. Well, here's the problem, is that as we take this up, people couldn't see from the crowd before, and there's not the same number of people here, but nevertheless, the follow the sea is still the same. So we'll work in the dark up here. For purposes of the administrative record, we will accept the petition as provided to the Department of Finance and Administration, and also the petition as presented to each of the commissioners individually. Okay. Now we'll begin, and we do this in open session. We will consider parcel each one. I'm explaining this to the people who are still with us so that we can. Okay, and this is the discussion, except for perhaps a lingering question that might come forward among the commissioners. Before us and on the screen is area, I'm going to call it Area 1, Medina Lane. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I move that we accept the adoption or accept the annexation of Area 1.
Okay. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It carries unanimously. Number 2. Let me just indicate that this is a parcel southwest of the Estes Road and was a county island, and there is missing paperwork.
And I would move acceptance of Area 2 into.
Second.
Okay. We're going to, our attorney gives us some additional advice. He'd like to have us do a roll call. Okay. Any further discussion on this? Let's back up. We know, let's take care of this one. We've got a motion on the table, and I don't want to back up at this stage. Okay. Any further discussion? Mr. Williams, a roll call, please.
Member Correjo?
Yes.
Member Caruso?
Yes.
Chairman Ball?
Yes. I'm going to back up then, because I think maybe inadequate. Going back to number 1, I think we had a motion by Commissioner Caruso, seconded by Commissioner Correjo. We didn't have any discussion. Would you do a roll call for parcel number 1?
Area number 1, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Member Correjo?
Yes.
Member Caruso?
Yes.
Chairman Ball?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now we go to number 3. Let me find it on my list. Oh, I've got it now. I'll refer to this one as 508 Verde Road, in the parcel that indicates missing paperwork. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I move the annexation of parcel number 3.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? There being no further discussion, Mr. Williams, please call the roll.
Member Correjo?
Yes.
Member Caruso?
Yes.
Chairman Ball?
Yes. We move now to parcel number 4, which are 8 split parcels and 5 other adjacent parcels.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, a discussion on this before we make any motions. It's my understanding that all of the properties must be contiguous to existing city property. Is that correct?
That's my understanding. I'm not the one that's going to give you
Okay.
a judicial opinion on that.
All right, well, in this particular area,
Mr. Ramsey or Mr. Rodriguez? Okay. Okay. We've got an issue with this one, so, all right. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may ask, make a motion to go back and
Reopen
reopen
the record.
the record and testimony on this particular motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that motion? And I think we can take this by unanimous consent. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. It passes unanimously. If we might, Mr. Rodriguez, Commissioner Parejo has a question with respect to parcel 4, and we're back on the record.
I actually see three parcels that are not contiguous to the city.
Yes, if the question is, and if you're referring to those properties that include the one on the corner and then the lot on either side of that lot on the corner, yes, those, if you looked at them separately, they would not touch themselves, would not touch the town boundaries. Of course, the reason we did this is because we submitted the petition as a whole.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, is this an approved subdivision?
Yes, it is.
All of these lots are within the approved
Yes,
subdivision?
yes, they are all legally subdivided lots.
Is it a county subdivision or a city subdivision?
Well, because that the review who reviewed subdivisions changed recently, I'll defer that to a staff member who will have better knowledge of that.
If you would, Mr. Rodriguez, if you'll just consult with him and then
All right.
provide what he's.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, while we're waiting.
Let's Mr. Rodriguez come back with his response, Mr. James. Yeah, maybe.
Now, pardon me. The reason I wasn't able to answer just right away is because the way subdivisions were reviewed and approved at the time this came in has changed since then. At that time, the town had what was known as an extraterritorial jurisdiction for subdivisions outside the town limits going out 3 miles. That does not exist anymore. So this subdivision was one of those that was reviewed when the town was reviewing and approving subdivisions outside the town limits. So the answer to the question is yes, it is a town-approved subdivision.
And Mr. James had a comment.
Mr. James?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If it helps any, there is case law in New Mexico, I believe it's the Moot v. Boundary Commission that addresses this point. It essentially says that if the annexation could be accomplished in 2 stages, it can be accomplished in 1. So to the extent that the annexation of the uncontested contiguous parcels would make the questionable contiguous parcels contiguous, then it's a good question. It's a legally moot question since they would become contiguous in one fell swoop if you were, and can provide the site. I'm sure it's moots versus Boundary Commission.
I'll ask you, Mr. Williams, do we have to move to go back off the record? Or do we, can I just declare that we're going off the record?
I would just simply close the record.
Okay.
And continue the revision.
Okay, is there any chance that you're going to have any other questions before we?
There probably is going to be more questions on that note. I will have any questions.
get some advice from Mr. Williams. I guess we should.
Mr. Chairman, here's my best take on this. If there, polling the members at the moment, if there are only one or two other areas where there may be other questions, I would go ahead and close the record, get through as much as you can, and if you do need to reopen the record for one of those other areas, it's simple as that.
Okay. All right. And then that's, I'm going to take my lawyer's advice. We're going to close the record, and before us is parcel 4. What's the pleasure of the commission?
Move the annexation of parcel number 4.
I will second
Okay. Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, Mr. Williams, please take the roll.
Durango,
that. Yes.
Member Cruz,
Yes.
Chairman Huff.
Yes. Now we come to number 5. And this is described as 3 parcels north of Paseo del Cañon East in the Pinon Hills subdivision. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I move the annexation of parcel number 5.
I will second.
Any further discussion? Mr. Williams, the roll, please.
Member Craig,
Yes.
Member Cruz,
Yes.
Chairman Huff.
Yes. We turn to parcel 6. And briefly described as Area 6, 1 parcel north of Apple Court, split by the town boundary. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I move the annexation of parcel number 6.
I will second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for the annexation of parcel number 6. Any further discussion? Mr. Williams, roll, please.
Member Craig,
Yes.
Member Cruz,
Yes.
Chairman Huff.
Yes. Parcel 7. Let me just identify it just a little bit more, okay? But have your motion, but it's parcel 7 is 3 parcels near Gustav Road at Cruz Alta. We have a motion by Commissioner Carrejo for approval. Your second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Williams.
Mr. Chairman, I know that he's been referring to the terms they use as parcel 7. Just to clarify for the record, these are designated as areas.
Okay.
So, I'm taking it by the motion being saying parcel 7 and area 7. I just want to clarify that for the record.
Okay. And we will, from this point forward, then just refer to them as areas. Okay.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Please call the roll.
Member Craig,
Yes.
Member Cruz,
Yes.
Chairman Huff.
Yes. We have Area 8 before us. It's at 425 Kit Carson Road. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I move the annexation of area 8.
Okay, is there a second?
I will second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? There being none, Mr. Williams.
Member Craig,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Area 9, referred to as Los Pueblos condominiums. What's the pleasure of the commission?
I move the annexation of area 9.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Any further discussion on Area 9? If not, Mr. Williams, the roll, please.
Member Craig,
Yes.
Member Cruz,
Yes.
Chairman Huff.
Yes. We turn to Area 10.
Mr. Chairman, I
referring to area 10.
Yeah, area.
Okay, describe two parcels at the east end of Las Cruces Road adjacent to Taos Pueblo property. Do we have a second?
Second?
Is there any further discussion on area 10? There being none, Mr. Williams.
Member Pareda. Member Cruz.
Yes.
Member Lott.
Yes. We turn to area 11, and it's two split parcels on the town boundary at the northeast end of Penitentiary Lane. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I move we accept the annexation of Area 11.
Is there a second? Any discussion? There being no further discussion, Mr. Williams.
Member Pareda. Member Cruz.
Yes.
Member Lott.
Yes. Now we move to area 12. And this is briefly described as 8 parcels in the Maple Dodge and Pond area. What is the pleasure of the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I would do the annexation of area 12.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion of area 12? There being none, Mr. Williams.
Member Pareda.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We turn to area 13, briefly described as 7 parcels on Trujillo Lane. What's the pleasure of the commission?
I move the approval of the annexation for Area 13.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, and Mr. Williams.
Member Pareda.
Yes.
Cruz.
Yes.
Member Lott.
Yes. Right, area 14. Briefly described as 23 parcels in county islands between Ranchitos Road and La Posta Road. What is the pleasure of the commission with this area 14?
Mr. Chairman, I would go ahead and move the acceptance of
Second?
Any discussion? There being no further discussion, Mr. Williams.
Member Pareda.
Yes.
Member Cruz.
Yes.
Chairman Lott.
Yes. We turn to area 15. And area 15 briefly described as 3 split parcels on the town boundary. What is the pleasure of the commission?
Mr. Chairman, if I may ask you to go back on the record for this one, I have some questions.
Do we have to have a motion?
I would move to go back on the record.
Second?
And any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're back on the record. Go ahead, Chairman, Commissioner Carrejo.
Okay, I'm having a question concerned about this. Is this one of those areas that was requested to be put on here so that we wouldn't have to split lots? Is that the question, Mr. Ensign?
There's one lot that's split. The cemetery was never formally annexed, and the lot kind of in the bottom center there was never formally annexed, so it's kind of both. There's one split parcel which is shaped kind of like an L, a backwards L, and that's split by the town boundary. The other two were never formally annexed, so it's a combination area.
Okay, and for further clarification, okay, the portion of the lot to the northwest,
Yes.
it's in the brown shaded area, now will that be splitting that lot? Will it do, if we annex this portion,
The red line will move up to the top here,
Oh, okay.
and that way will be unsplit. Right now it splits it. This is one lot right here, one parcel owned by Manuel Pacheco and his wife. This is a cemetery, and this is a very small lot that actually has a small residence on it. So the red line, the town limit, will then move to the outside.
And that does clear up this split lot.
Clears up everything and the lack of annexation paperwork for the cemetery.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions? So
Chairman, can you pull that from the record, or-
we're gonna go off the record now. I'm just gonna declare we're going off the record. And we're dealing with Area 15. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I would urge approval of Area 15.
Second?
Any discussion? There being no further discussion, Mr. Williams?
Member Correa.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now we're at 16. This is described briefly as a 1-acre county island off the Salazar Road extension.
Mr. Chairman, I move the approval of the annexation for Area 16.
There a second. Is there any further discussion? There being no further discussion, Mr. Williams, call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we turn now to Area 17. Briefly described as 23 parcels between Upper Ranchistos Road, Calle Ezequiel, and the northern town boundary. Now, what is the pleasure of the commission for Area 17?
Mr. Chairman, I move the approval of the annexation of Area 17.
We have a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
if I may, there's some question concerning this, in that, the cost of supplying the services to people in this area, they're not already there. As a sewer network, it's 35 acres and, almost a quarter of a mile outlay. And I just have a little bit of question concerning the financial capabilities of the town of Taos providing services to this area.
Mike, I'm gonna, you mind if I comment on
I
that?
would love to.
We'd asked some of those questions, and we had Mr. Espinosa here for the Public Works Department and issues about funding. And then we had, I forget who asked the direct question of Mr. Rodriguez about the $2 million whether it was a grant, and then he came back that it was, but nevertheless, he said there is nothing that's, about this annexation that was contingent upon some future funding that they don't have at hand to be able to do.
We can be assured of that.
We can be assured that Mr. Rodriguez represented it so, and that's what's all about. That's from my view. Mr. Caruso?
I agree.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on Area 17. Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, Mr. Williams, call the roll, please.
Member Correa.
Yes.
Member Caruso.
Yes.
Chairman Moore.
Yes. We come to Area 18. Take me a moment. I found it on my list. Okay. Area 18, briefly described as 23 parcels on Archuleta Lane, Paseo del Pueblo Norte, and the northeast Upper Ranchitos Road. What is the pleasure of the commission with Area 18?
Mr. Chairman, I would move annexation of Area 18.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for approval of the annexation of Area 18. Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, Mr. Williams, call the roll, please.
Member Craig.
Yes.
Member Cruz.
Yes.
Chairman Bond.
Yes. We have before us now Area 19, described as 81 parcels between Estes Road and Arroyo de los Coyotes. What is the pleasure of the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I move the approval of the annexation for Area 19.
I will second the motion. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second for approval of the annexation of Area 19. Any further discussion? No further discussion? Mr. Williams, call the roll.
Member Craig.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And we come to the final area. Area 20, briefly described as 38 parcels bounded by the current town boundary, Gustav Road, Los Fondos Road, and Cruz Alta Road.
Mr. Chairman, I would move annexation of Area 20.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second for the approval of the annexation of Area 20. Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, Mr. Williams, please call the roll.
Member Craig.
Yes.
Member Cruz.
Yes.
Chairman Bond.
Yes. Okay. I believe those are the 20 parcels that are before us for the annexation. There isn't anything else that we have to assume for the record. We've closed the record. That being said, we go to the next order of business. Okay?
Oh, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman. May I?
Of course.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that a member of the commission make a motion to delegate to the chairperson,
That's correct. Go ahead. Please
to the chairperson of the commission, the authority to sign the final commission order effectuating your decision and order from the bench. It's my vernacular. In other words, Mr. Chairman, just simply to effectuate issuance of the order, I'd like to have the chairperson designated to sign that on behalf of the commission once it's ready.
I would move that.
I want to just say that what we're going to do is, you haven't seen it in the past, is we're going to give the town of Taos a formal order from the commission for purposes of having that as part of your record, so that this paperwork problem that you've had in the past, maybe we can get by that. And, okay, we have a motion to permit Mr. Williams to prepare an order that reflects the deliberations and the final decision of the commission with respect to the 20 parcels before us for annexation, all of which were approved, and to permit the chairman to execute that order consistent with the motion of Commissioner Parejo. Do I have a second? Second. We have a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Ayes have it. Yeah. Now, I thank the town of Taos. I thank all the participants. I thank the public. I thank the county, the representatives of the county commission for coming before. We're not quite through with our business. We're not going to adjourn this quite yet. We have one other substantive action to be taken, and that's the election of officers. And the current election, the current officers are I, Frank Bond, as the chairman, Commissioner Parejo is the vice chairwoman, and I didn't think we don't have anybody but the chair and the vice chair, okay?
There's a question
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Okay.
That's, you always have to be okay to do a.
I get you, I didn't want to volunteer.
Okay, just for the record, I've enjoyed being chairman for the little bit I have, but I also confirmed to my fellow commissioners that I'm willing to let somebody else have an opportunity now. So we're going to take these in order, the chairman and the vice chairman. And so I'll open up the meeting for nominations for chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Ms. Correa
Okay?
as the chairman.
All right. Any other nominations? There being no further nominations, we have a nomination of Commissioner Parejo as to be the next chair of the Municipal Boundary Commission. All those, any discussion? You want to give yourself a promotional speech? It's down to Mr. Rodriguez. All those.
I don't know that you want Mr. Rodriguez's input on this right now.
Yeah, okay, we're not taking it either. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Commissioner Parejo. Would you be okay if I can finish the conduct of the
I
election?
think it would be wonderful.
Okay. The next one is the election of vice chair.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Chairman Bott as our, vice chair. Vice chair?
Yeah.
Vice chair.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I'm gonna go with the old saying, once you got the deal, get out of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Any other nominations? There being no further nominations, any discussions? Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I think that completes the election of officers. Yeah, you'll do fine. You'll like it. You know this stuff better than the rest of us.
Deal with
Now,
it
see,
all.
we've all each been a chairman.
Yeah, see,
In
there
the
you go.
nineties and the two thousand
And the
tens, and now,
2000s,
so
yeah.
we've all been a chairman.
Okay.
Your call
Uh,
cannot be
let me
completed
just
as
go ahead
dialed.
through the-
Please consult your directory
agenda
and
for
call again,
purposes of this.
or ask your operator for
Any other
assistance.
business to come
This is
before
a
the
recording.
Do we need to talk about our next hearing?
I'd like to,
That's what's just always kind of concerned me a little bit is making sure that we do them as quickly as we can.
Right.
Just so that we don't get the
So we don't
administration
get bogged down.
in any trouble either. And it makes us look bad if we don't get them done. So,
I would, you know, and I certainly agree with that.
What?
Come on. You're so rude.
Yeah, that's fine.
My concern, and is just for the month of June, is my inavailability. I mean, I'm trying to retire and sell a house and move, and I just,
I'm not
I'm
available in June.
available in any part of June. After that, I'm very available.
Okay. The next ones that I'm aware of, and I can't remember for sure, it's Anthony and Messia Park, or it's,
Anthony is one, but,
but anyway, there are two in southern Doñana County.
okay.
And what we have suggested to Mr. Gallegos is that he try to schedule those one day and one the other. Because keep in mind that they have to have them in the municipality where the annexation is going to take place. Down there, I'm not sure that they have a meeting room big enough necessarily
Maybe
for
the
it.
school.
But they'll work that
school
out.
or church
Okay. Yeah, school, church, whatever it is that we
with
have
air
to do.
conditioning.
With air conditioning,
Yeah.
yes.
And then I further
Or
understand,
children's
that there's a pending, we're likely to have a request from the city of Las Vegas. And they've contacted Mr. Gallegos. Okay, any other business come before the commission? There being none, I would accept a motion for adjournment of the Municipal Boundary Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Yeah, it's not a discussable motion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Safe travels home, my friends.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was a very, very well conducted meeting. I thoroughly expected us to be good tomorrow. So,
Well,
Well, we didn't have this,
we didn't have the controversy.